Hello, welcome to Bible Talk, where we're going to read some scripture. We're going to observe the scripture. We're going to try to apply the scripture, and we're going to pray that the scripture will speak something into our life or mean something to us. Before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to my wife who got me this awesome Bible. She asked me what I needed, and I said I need a Bible with big print in it. And she got me this Bible that's giant letters in there. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my wife. And that being said, I'm going to pick a random spot and we're just going to read and see where it leads us. All right, well, that being said, I'm just going to open it up randomly. We have Daniel 7, which is Daniel's dream of 4 beasts. So let's get going. So Daniel 7 is in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon. Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was lying in bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. It's funny that I'm reading about dreams because the last couple of nights I've been having some crazy dreams. One of them, I was being chased by zombies, I think because I watched World War Z, and it was one of those dreams where you wake up and you're so happy that it was just a dream, but then you're kind of scared to go back to sleep because you don't want to go right back into that same dream. But I just thought it was kind of funny that we're reading about dreams. But all right. Daniel said, "In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the 4 winds of heaven, churning up the great sea. 4 great beasts, each different from the others, came up out of the sea. The first was like a lion. It had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear. It was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, 'Get up and eat your fill of flesh.' After that I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule." I believe that's in Revelation as well. "After that, in my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was a 4th beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all former beasts, and it had 10 horns. While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully." Verse 9, "As I looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair of his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and his wheels were all ablaze." This dream would be absolutely crazy. "A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him." I usually can see on my watch, sorry, I'm pausing it, but my watch died, so I had to make sure that the video didn't stop recording. All right, where was I? "Then I continued to watch because of the boastful words the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beasts was slain, and its body destroyed and thrown into the blazing fire. Verse 12, the other beasts had been stripped of their authority, but were allowed to live for a period of time. That's also in Revelations. In my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and people of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. Talking about Jesus. Powerful stuff. I'm going to stop right there because a story came to my mind while I was reading this. I was thinking about this story. It happened when I was 19. I got in trouble with the law, and I ended up having to live with my grandma. It was the first time I really started to dig into the Word and ask questions about the Bible, and it was so nice because I was able to ask my grandma, and she had so many answers. And if she didn't know, then she would try to find them for me, or we'd study together, try to find the answers together. It was the first time I ever experienced the hunger to just learn about Scripture and what it had to say. But because I was doing so, I started having some pretty crazy dreams. And the one dream that I started thinking about as I was reading this was I fell, or I died, and I actually went to hell. And when I got there, I saw my dad. He was in charge of the line. He was working for hell as directing people to the pit of fire. And I just remember crying out to Jesus and asking him to save me. And right then and there, all of a sudden, I saw this bright light. And I didn't see a figure. I didn't see a face. I didn't see... it wasn't like a typical person. It was just a form, and it was just a bright light. And then I just heard the words, if you're not for me, you're against me. And I remember waking up, and it was just such a ground-shattering experience. It felt so real that it stuck with me even till now. I look back and when I think about it, and I haven't thought about that dream in years. Like I said, that was 10 years ago, but that's what popped in my head as I was reading this. So I guess we're gonna get pretty personal on this channel, so I appreciate you guys bearing with me, and I pray that something in this can speak to you as well. I feel like that's kind of the word I'm going to go with today, is just if you're not for me, you're against me. And I think God says that to all of us. So I appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to continuing just to start studying with all of you. And if you have any questions, or you want me to read a certain passage that you're interested in, or if you like this type of model, just randomly picking a spot and reading, let me know. My whole purpose is just to grow individually and then grow as a family with all of you who are watching. So again, thank you for your time, and until next time.